Hello, my Chunsters. My name is Glen Chun, and you are all welcomed to Wrestlecast, episode 17. We are just titling this thing LEP Plymouth, because on this show we're going to be running down LEP Topsham, which was last Saturday in Exeter, and we're also looking ahead to LEP's future, which is LEP Plymouth at the Stonehouse Creek Leisure Centre. But I'm not doing this alone, because that would just be a criminal act of me. You should literally arrest me if I try to do this alone. Which is why I have two phenomenal and bright guests from the LEP roster here today. Oh yes. You just heard from one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, the first guest is the LEP Academy champion for something like 286 million years now. It's Jason King!
First things first, right? First and foremost, you said something there that was completely correct. I am the LEP Academy champion. The other thing you said that was right was that if you ever tried to do a show by yourself without anybody else to talk over you and to teach you a lesson in manners and basic English, then yes, I would welcome you being arrested, just so you know where I stand.
I understand completely. And also, along with Jason King, who is very outspoken, as always, we have the brightest referee the world has ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if I can avoid getting on Botchamania again this time. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the referee, Chun! Obrey!
Yeah, that's more like it. Glen, how are we?
I am very, very well, thank you.
Good. I can't say I'm particularly happy with being on the show with Mr. King, but I'm sure we'll get through it.
You know, you just said the brightest referee.
In the entire world, yes, I did, yeah.
The ugliest referee.
Well,
the dumbest referee. The referee that seems to find a way to get involved in my business where it's not wanted. That referee.
Here we go. Yes, that is that referee. Now, I should explain to viewers of the show. When it comes to John and Jason, these are two men who do not like each other.
Whoa, don't call me Jason, in fact. You call me Mr. King.
Okay. To all those who do not understand, John and Mr. King do not like each other. In fact, they come very close to really pretty much despising each other. So like I say, tonight this could be very interesting. It's a good thing they are only talking digitally rather than in person, because there would be a fist fight.
It wouldn't be much of a fight.
Yeah, lucky for Jason. Yeah.
It would be happening right now. Jason would probably be knocked out already. But ladies and gentlemen, we have got a hell of a show, because quite aside from hyping up LEP, we have fan questions for both Mr. King and John Obrey. And they are phenomenal.
Fan questions for Jason King, hate mail for John Obrey. True or false?
I think you've got that wrong. Other way round, Jason. It's hate mail for you, mate. You know the fans love me more than what they love you. You know that, Jason.
What a cruel world we live in, where a referee has been made to believe people value him, and more importantly, like him.
I don't need to believe it. You hear the fans. They love to boo you. They love to cheer me. You know that, Jason.
Nobody boos me. I've never been booed my entire life.
Well, oh dear. Now that might be selective hearing, Mr. King. However, let us. What should we do first? Shall we run down LEP Topsham? Should we do some fan questions first? This bit I haven't quite planned out. It's like random jumble of things I want to do, but not quite the order. Shall we run down LEP Topsham?
You're ever a professional, Glen Chun. I don't know why I come on this bloody show. You have no idea what you're doing. What you've basically done is gone in your mum's basement and got yourself a camera. Instead of masturbating on the show, what you've decided to do live on air this time is invite two guys round. Now, you need to get a grip on what's going on.
You do not dare tell me I'm not masturbating. You do not know what's going on underneath the screen. You've been told. Alright? Now, we're going to run down LEP Topsham. That is what we are going to do. We're going to be running down LEP Topsham first. Let's get stuff that's happened before now out of the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, match 1 of LEP Topsham was an incredible contest between the upcoming Adam Flint, that's Mr. Big Time Adam Flint, who wouldn't bother wasting his time on this podcast, versus the English Lion, Eddie Ryan. And this Well, I can only describe this as a very, very poor move on Adam's part. But he wanted a handshake with Eddie Ryan, which resulted in a bit of a crushed hand, I would assume, based on what I saw. But
I saw that match. Let me tell you something. I watched that match, and Adam Big Time Flint is a good friend of mine. We have a common enemy in the name Maximo Jr. I'm not even going to mention that guy's name again. Me and Mr. Flint have got a common goal, and that is to rid British wrestling of these arrogant people. Like, who in the name of the South calls himself the English Lion? Eddie Ryan's an idiot. I know that. You know that. And Big Time knew that. If you ask me, my review of that contest, admittedly, Adam Flint couldn't get the job done, again, but he's learning. My review of that contest was that Adam Flint taught Eddie Ryan a lesson he will never forget.
See,
well, I'll admit he came very, very, very close to victory there. He put it in the head of the fight against Eddie Ryan.
yeah, I'll be the first to admit that. Being in the ring and refereeing that match, Adam gave it his all, but I wouldn't say, I'd put it in Jason's words, where he taught Eddie a lesson. I think it would have been the other way round. Eddie taught Adam a lesson. Don't get too cocky. And that is exactly what Adam Flint did. He got too cocky, made some mistakes, and it cost him the match. Simple as that.
And that's pretty much what happened. That was match 1, ladies and gentlemen, and it was a good contest. Now, match 2 was a very, very, very interesting match, which mixed experienced with youth. That's how we should put it. As it saw the team of the UK Dominator and Vincent the Mad Dog Andrews off the firm, with his firm brethren at ringside, Jago and Mark Manson. They were at ringside for this match, and they took on the team of the Rocker, John Harding, and T.C. Harris. Now, this was chaos. And let's put it that way. Pure chaos.
Yeah, I will admit, I was all over the place in that match. Having to send out Jago first for interfering, then having to send, attempt to send Mean Mark out at the same time for interfering. There was just lots of interference, but they did pick up the win in the end. The firm picked up the win over John Harding and TC. But yeah, it was good showing from both teams, I reckon.
Yeah, Mr. Mad Dog Andrews took the pin. More on that later. But I think Mr. King has something to say.
Hold on a minute. You want to see the blind leading the blind, right? You've got Tweedledee and Twice His Dumb in John Harding and T.C. Harris. Then you've got Winkin', Blinkin' and Nod in the name of the firm. Winning a match against John Harding and T.C. Harris is like winning an egg and spoon race. There's no credibility and nobody cares. It's a joke. The whole thing was a joke. Why do you think after the match, the UK Dominator, after defeating John Harding for about the 1000th time, and TC nobody cares about me Harris, okay? He then turned on the firm and gave them the ass kicking that they deserved. The only good bit about that match, the only bit I liked about that entire match, was when the UK Dominator turned on the firm and taught him a lesson. That was my favourite bit. I had popcorn when I was watching that.
Well, they all took one in the nads. So that's the thing. Eddie Ryan then made the save, and John Harding went and put the firm. Well, he talked up the firm, said they were the future of British wrestling.
Who said that?
That would be the Rocker. John Harding came out and took the mic and said they all had a very bright future. Which more on that later.
I couldn't agree more.
Whoa! Just hold on a minute. Glen Chun, do you know anything about astrophysics?
I know a few things about astrophysics. I know that not even the speed of light can escape a black hole.
Oh, good God. It's a rhetorical question. You're stupid. Shut up. If you said John Obrey is the future of rocket science, which we know he's not because he's dumb, but if you said that he was the future of rocket science, you would be about as qualified to comment on that as the Rocker, John Harding, is to comment on who is the future of British wrestling. That's a quote.
I will also tell you that the Rocker John Harding is a veteran of 16 years and 768 page likes, but Yeah, no, who is he to say anything? Right, so that was your second match. You also have
Keep it up.
hey, I train at LEP. I can whip your ass anytime I want to, any Tuesday. Right, so yeah, you made that face. I'll smack it. Right, so match number 3 was exciting, to say the least. This was exciting because in one corner you have the man who Jason will never mention again, but I will, Maximo Jr. versus the imposing presence that is Gaznox. This is power versus speed all over. You have the athleticism of Maximo Jr. versus just the man has peaks the size of buildings, Gaznox.
It's an amazing match. Really, really fast-paced match. I must admit, I thoroughly enjoyed that match. Both men gave it their all. Maximo obviously coming out on top, speed over power. But yeah, amazing match. There was, like you said, Gaznork's raw power. He displayed some of that raw power and strength. But yeah, Maximo just managed to steal the win. Brilliant match. Absolutely amazing.
You know, here's two guys, right, that I'm going to tell you something now. That although I may not like that Mexican jumping bean, I do respect him. I've wrestled him. He's tough. He's small, you know. He's like a chihuahua. But he's tough. Now, I've wrestled Maximo. He damn near kicked my head off my shoulders. So I know that he would not fear a guy like Gaznorks. Gaznorks is so big and so strong. It takes a hell of a game plan to defeat a guy like Gaznorks. The problem is, with all that muscle, all that mass, eventually you get tired. And when you get tired, you've got nothing left. Maximo was too fast, too much, too soon. He's put himself in place for another shot at my Academy Championship. I was expecting Gaznorks to finish Maximo off, to break him in half. Didn't happen, did it?
Nope. Maximo got away with the win on that one.
I can, for once, Mr. K, I never thought I'd say it, but I agree with you on that one.
Damn right.
Why wouldn't you agree, Mr. King? Anyway, then we had...
Because he's dumb.
Well, that's to be debated. Match number 4. Now, after the unfortunate vacation of the LEP Heavyweight Championship, which means Marvellous Mark Walsh, is no longer the champion, we had to have a match to find out who would carry that belt into the near future. So, step right up, Dynamite David Fury, the last number 1 contender, and the man who cost Dynamite David Fury the match against Marvellous Mark Walsh at St. Anne's Hall, the professional Josh Knott. These two went one-on-one for the LEP LEP Heavyweight Championship. Sorry, don't ever get the two confused. Naughty.
No, do not.
No, never do. And my God, this was just an all-out wrestling masterpiece, start to finish, with the end result being Josh Knott as the new LEP Heavyweight Champion. I mean,
yeah, very true. Another cracking match, but thoroughly, Josh Knott deserved everything he got that night. It's about time. It's about time he had a heavyweight belt round his waist. So yeah, he deserved that. Not taking anything away from Fury. Again, hard hitting. He gave Josh everything, but in the end, it wasn't enough. Josh forcing Fury to give up in the end and taking the heavyweight belt. But yeah, thoroughly deserved. Well deserved.
Do you know the difference between a champion and a contender?
Well, yeah, I'm sure I do, Jason, yes.
You don't know anything, shut up. Rhetorical question, you're an idiot. The only thing you ever won in life was the race to fertilise the egg when you were first born. That's the only thing you ever won, okay? Now, here's the thing, right? The difference between David Fury and Josh Knott is very, very simple. David Fury cares about the people. He's passionate for the people. When they scream for David Fury, he rises up like a phoenix. But when the people give up on David Fury gives up. Josh Knott doesn't care about the people. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about them. Josh Knott cares about Josh Knott. That's why Josh Knott is now the LEP heavyweight champion, and David Fury goes back to the back of the line.
Well, that is true. That is what happened. So, match number 5, the penultimate match of the night, saw what on paper is a bit of a mismatch, really. It was the ultimate JP representing England against a man who travelled all the way from Moscow, Russia. We are talking about the Russian crusher, Dmitry Ivanov, this match was very, very, very simple. Dmitry just used his power all match and wore JP out submissions. JP, give him his credit, came out with a valiant effort, but this was mostly a flag-waving contest, and Dmitry got a lot more flag-waving done than JP. In the end, the Russian crusher, the cranium-crushing finisher, got locked on, and JP, to his credit, did not tap to Dmitry Ivanov.
That's because he's
passed out.
That's just because he's dumb. Here's the thing you got to remember. First and foremost, I resent the fact that you said JP represents England, because he doesn't. He represents the kind of people that don't work hard enough and don't put in enough effort. That's a fact. That's why he lost. That big Russian, right? That big Russian, Boris Zhukov, or whatever the hell his name is, flies over from Russia, sees JP, smashes him. On the way back, he probably smashed another couple of people. The man's a killer, okay? Cold blood. That's fine. Great talent. Why would you... Here's the thing. I question, okay? I question the sanity, the amount of respect, and the common decency of LEP management. Why would you put JP, why would you put him in the ring with a known killer?
Well, this is a wrestling match. Murder isn't allowed, so maybe they thought it wouldn't take that step.
Nearly did though, didn't it?
Nearly. Thankfully, it didn't. Which leads me on to match number 6, and a match, Mr. King, I'm sure you're going to enjoy talking about, because this match saw the LEP Academy champion Jason King versus the Shark Chris Andrews, and well, this was epic. This was epic. This was a clash. Chris Andrews used all his power in the world, and Jason, well, sir, you used all your cunning. And you damn near walked away with that victory. You were out in the back, celebrating, giving your speech, and it turned out the match actually wasn't over, and Chris Andrews had to come and drag you back to the ring with the TKO for the official victory. Now, I'm sure you have something to say about this, Mr. King, so I'm going to let you speak.
Damn Skippy, I do. First and foremost, look at these scars. You see these?
Beautiful.
You shut up.
Beautiful.
You shut up. Look at these. These are real. Okay, those aren't fake. I don't make those up. I didn't paint those on. I had a strategy from day one, and I told every single person that would listen that I would not run. Did I run? No. I stood toe-to-toe with the #1 man in all of Devon, former #1 man in all of Devon. What happened when I stood toe-to-toe with Chris Andrews? Not only did he realise how small he looks, stood next to me, okay? Not only that, but he realised quite quickly he was out of his depth. I walked straight up to Chris Andrews and smacked him clean in the face. I chopped Chris Andrews, I slammed Chris Andrews, I did not run, I did not hide. I have been unfortunate in my wrestling career. Despite the money I make, the success, the championship. 2 times, I have lost a wrestling contest in my career. Do you know why I lost these 2 wrestling contests? 2 times.
Please enlighten us.
Because of John Obrey.
Here we are.
John Obrey, is it?
CPW2 in Weybridge, Cornwall. I wrestle for the CPW Heavyweight Trophy. I warned John Obrey to stay out of my business. I give him a push, a reminder to keep his hands to himself. I give him a second push as a serious reminder. What does John Obrey do? What does
Push
John Obrey do?
Push you straight back, didn't I, Mr. King?
Damn right you did, John Obrey.
Yes, I told you, Jason, I told you not to put your hands on me. You put your hands on me for a second time. Retaliation was needed. You got what you deserved that night. You lost to Dancing Daddy Bainsley. And you just can't handle that. So you'll always blame me for that, won't you? You will always blame me for that. But no, it was your own fault. You got what you deserved that night.
Oh dear, I think you've annoyed him.
Isn't it funny, perception? The way you see a situation, the way I see a situation. Example number 2. I run into Chris Andrews. Chris runs into the referee. I drop kick Chris Andrews. He hits the ref. John Obrey, surprise, surprise. I go run into Chris to hit him with a forearm of steel that would have sent him to his grave, probably. Chris moves out the way. I hit John Obrey. Down goes John Obrey, like any normal man would if he'd been smashed by Jason King's thick forearms. What followed is the part of the story I want you to focus on most.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
Yep, brace yourselves.
Look back at the videos. Ask the people that were there. What ensued next was, I caught Chris with a crown jewels. 1, 2, 3. But there was no ref. The ref was down and out. I would have pinned Chris Andrews in the middle of the ring. What did I do to make sure that I got my justice? I picked up my shiny belt. I picked it up and I drove it straight through Chris's eyes, straight into the back of his head. Bam! Down went Chris. Down was the referee. I took it upon myself to do everybody's job and counted 1, 2, 3. I even did the ring announcer's job and said, play my music. I win. Like I said I would. Like I guaranteed I would pin Chris Andrews 1, 2, 3. It didn't finish there though, did it? No. No, it did not.
Oh, no.
Chris, the shark that I made look like a mackerel when I was done. Chris the Shark Andrews that blindsided me, attacked me from behind during a promo, threw me in the ring, caused me to try and hit him with my belt as an act of desperation that a normal man like myself would not take. And then it happened. My whole career flashed before me. My whole life flashed before me.
Do we need sad violin music for this part?
Shut up, you! I remember like it was yesterday.
That TKO, beautiful. I've never smiled so much in all my time of refereeing. Seeing you getting driven into the canvas by the Shark, Chris Andrews, was absolutely phenomenal. And I have never been more happy to count 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Oh, it was like music to my ears. You look a bit shocked there, Mr. King.
You're a twisted man.
He does. Yeah. That is exactly what happened.
I heard children crying when I lost.
Are you sure? Are you sure you weren't confusing them with laughs?
Are you sure they weren't you crying and you thought it was the kids? Listen, LEP Tottenham was a hell of a show. It was a hell of a show. St Matthew's Hall was treated to an incredible event, which is why we are here this. Well, it is the evening, even though it's broad daylight. Weird thing. It's called summer happening at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to talk to you about LEP's next show.
Wait. Just a thought, right? You're from Cornwall, right? You're from Cornwall. You guys are so slow, you probably ain't even started summer yet. You're so backward and so far behind. Have you got past winter yet?
Yeah, we have.
Mm-hmm.
There's flowers here and everything. There's the sun. It's kind of hot. Yeah. The sun rises at 3 a.m.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We are experiencing summer, I can promise.
And what does your promise mean to someone like me?
Proper Cornish summer it is. It means everything.
The word of a shitty journalist.
Do not doubt me, Mr. King. Do not doubt me. Because we are here on this fine summer's evening, even in Cornwall it is summer. We are here on this fine summer's evening to talk to you about LEP's next show, which is this Sunday. LEP Plymouth. Tickets are still available, but they are disappearing like this.
Very, very fast.
They're going quick, which means if you want to catch a ticket to LEP Plymouth, and trust me, you do, you really, 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 really do, you're going to want to buy those tickets right now. They are available on the LEP Facebook page on Plymouth, and now we're going to give you a couple of reasons. Just a couple of reasons why you want to go there, because quite besides from the fact that it's LEP, there's more awesomeness happening at this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for just a small taste of what you can look forward to at LEP Plymouth?
I'm ready.
So am I.
I'm ready.
Here we go. So, the first match that was announced is for the LEP Academy Championship, which will feature your champion, and just a man who's held that title so long. He's held that title longer than I've been alive. Ladies and gentlemen,
284 days and still counting.
Exactly, I aged pretty quickly. It's Mr. Jason King versus, remember what I said about earlier? Vincent the Mad Dog Andrews. Yeah. Because he got the pin in that tag match at Top Shun. This is why we recap Top Shun, because some of what happened there has an effect on here. Vincent the Mad Dog Andrews will be taking on Mr. Jason King for his LEP Academy Championship match.
Here's the thing to recall. He's just another flavour of the month. You know, everybody comes in different colours, and he's just a bit of vanilla. He's about to wrestle some Neapolitan. Okay? Here's the thing. You got to bear in mind, flavour of the month. First of all, it was Grayson Reeves. Then it was Supercat. Then it was Danny Walsh. Then it was Maximo. Now it's Mad Dog. Mad Dog. Mad Dog's the name I used to give my ex-girlfriend. Mad Dog? Come on. Let's be fair. If there was a Mad Dog where I come from, you would stab him with a needle. You would put him down. You would put him out. Sunday, Stonehouse Creek Leisure Centre. I put this dog down. Simple. I put him down, I put him out. That's a quote.
We will take that as a quote. So Vincent Mad Dog Andrews, word of advice, better bring the firm with you.
See, Vincent, one of the hottest products / talent on the circuit at the moment down in the southwest. He's coming up fast. Jason, you've really, I hope you've been training. Let's just say that. I hope you've been training, because Vincent is going to...
Does that look like you, John Obrey? Look at that bicep.
No, you best hit them weights again, mate. Yeah, Vincent, he's one tough character. He really is, and he's going to give you a run for your money. He really will. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats you for your academy title. He is that. You may laugh now.
Be surprised.
Wait until
you're going to need to count double fast for me to lose that gold.
He's going to wipe the floor with you, Mr. King. I guarantee it. You won't know what's hit you.
Well,
Oscar Wilde famously said, "We're all in the gutter. Some of us are just looking up at the stars." What separates me from the rest is I give every single one of my opponents the opportunity to lay on his back for 3 seconds and look at the stars.
Okay.
Mr. Mad Dog Andrews will be no different.
Well, that is the prophecy, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent Mad Dog Andrews will be laying on his back, looking at the star of Jason King. And if that's not enough for you, which quite frankly it should be, you also have the LEP Heavyweight Championship match, which features your newly crowned champion, the professional Josh Knott, making his first ever title defense in a triple threat match against, first of all, the man who rocks all over the world, John Harding, versus Dynamite David Fury. So, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Knott versus John Harding versus David Fury. I can see now, Mr. Obrey, I want to talk to you on this one. You have got your work cut out for you refereeing this one.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm very much looking forward to the match. I will say that, but yeah, I've definitely got my work cut out for me through that one. I'll be honest, prediction-wise, I couldn't tell you. All three are phenomenal talents. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to call. It's going to be a tough one to call. Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a match. It's definitely going to be one you don't want to miss. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely not. None of LEP Plymouth is to be missed, trust me. Which is why, like I said earlier, you should go and get your tickets now over on the LEP Promotions page on Facebook. Their tickets are available on Skiddle. LEP Plymouth, get the tickets now, because trust me, we haven't even finished hyping it up yet, because the next match that has been announced, and by the way, this is only 3 matches that have been announced so far. You have Maximo Jr. versus a returning to action British thug Scott Johns. Now that is going to be awesome!
Listen, Gaz Norks, for his faults, is a pleasant man. Big, strong, tough, stern figure of a man. He nearly broke Maximo in half. You ever tried to break a pink wafer in half before? You ever broke a pink wafer?
I have. Succeeded.
Doubtful. You couldn't break a fingernail, right? Here's the thing. Once this British thug gets his hands on Maximo, it's going to be like dunking a rich tea biscuit in a cup of tea for too long. Done. That I can assure you is a fact.
I mean, you saw what Maximo did to Gaz Norks. You saw how he won. You saw the athleticism he put on display. I think the British thug he's going to bite off more than he can chew with Maximo. I guarantee that. I don't know whether he's going to be able to pick up the win. It's Maximo, very accomplished, as we all know. It's going to be a very tough contest. But yeah, again, it's not one I could call right now. Not one I could say who's going to win. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I think British Thug, he's got his work cut out for him as well that night.
Clearly a man with no balls. I just told you. Maximo down, Maximo out. I'm calling it now. Am I wrong? I'm never wrong. Maximo down, Maximo out. Maximo finished. Maximo in ambulance. Maximo in hospital. Maximo no NHS healthcare. Maximo back to Mexico. That is another fact.
Well, you never know. I mean, the thing is, the British Thug, he hasn't been around consistently over the last few, well, it's been quite a while, I think.
You are the worst journalist of all time. You are literally the worst journalist of all time. He's not been around in the ring. He's a British thug. He's been out fighting on the streets. He's been out doing bare knuckle. He's been out fighting doormen. He's been out fighting bulldogs.
Things are different in the ring.
Things are very different in the ring. This man was born and bred to fight.
What if there's a bit of ring rust there? You never know. You never know. That might just be enough to get Maximo through this.
Again, I'm going to have to say that I don't like saying this, but I do agree with Mr. King there. British Thug, he's a natural. I will say that. He's got natural ability when it comes to the ring. He could step out for years, he could come back, and it would be like he never left. This is what Maximo's got to go up against. This is what I think Maximo, British Thug, it is Maximo's toughest bout to date, in my mind.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are your 3 matches announced so far. The LEP Academy Championship match champion, Mr. Jason King versus Vincent the Mad Dog Andrews. The LEP Heavyweight Championship match, the champion, Josh Knott defending against the Rocker John Harding. And also Dynamite David Fury. And also the match we've just been talking about, Maximo Jr. versus the British Thug, Scott Johns. But Hey, this is LEP. That's not all you're going to be able to see, because we also have appearances from the rest of the firm. That would be Mr. Jago and Mr. Mean, Mark Manson. You will also see Gaznorbs. He is scheduled to be making an appearance at some point during the show. You will also have, flying back over from Moscow, that big Russian crusher, the Russian murderer, as Jason King likes to call him, Dmitry Ivanov. He will be in attendance. You will also get to see the LEP debut of a very, very fresh individual, Mr. Funky Freshness, who will be making his LEP debut in Plymouth. Also, you can see John Obrey refereeing all the action as always.
Don't spoil it for
Make sure
once in your life you did a good job hyping a show. One time you get something right. And your punchline is that John Obrey's got to be there. All the ticket sales just went up and went back down. LEP management are going to fire your ass. You know that, don't you?
Well, this podcast isn't owned by LEP, so good luck to them. But on this side of things, let me tell you something. If you think that John Obrey being in the show is a good thing, type John into the chat. Do it now. Anyway,
it's going to go bad now, Glenn. You realise that it's going to go out.
Yeah, I know. It's just going to be 10 million comments, all John. Anyway, finally, my final guy for you to hype is local town hero. The ultimate JP, Jamie Pearn, is wrestling in a big time match. Why did I go American there? Big time match in his hometown. JP in action in Plymouth. Do not miss it. And yeah, for everybody's watching this show after this broadcast has gone live, I will put a link to the website where you can buy tickets for the show in the chat, so you can go ahead and do that, because you're going to need to do it quick, because they're going quick. I tried to rhyme that there, but I've been drinking a fair bit of this, and quick was the only thing that came into my mind.
How do you have a job? Who employs you? The next time my agent tells me I'm asked to do this podcast, the first thing I'm going to tell is A, who the bloody host is, and B, if that damn son of a bitch John Obrey's there too. I cannot believe I'm doing this. What happened to these fan questions, Glen Chun, you idiot?
Hey, I was about to get on to that. I would also like to state for the record that I was getting requests every bloody week, every day of every bloody week, for him to be on this show so he can talk about his matches. I'll have you know that, ladies and gentlemen.
My agent does a good job.
Since you talked about fan questions, we would like to get on to that moment of the show, because I love to do these fan questions. Just to be serious for a moment, I love doing these fan questions. They're always extremely entertaining. We always get some very, very interesting questions coming up from all of the long-time fans of the show, and they always provide just gold, is what I'll call it, gold. So we are going to do that for you now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is perhaps a part of the show you've been waiting for. Maybe. You have been waiting for it, because it is now 50 minutes into the show. Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, so, because they came in first, we'll deal with them first. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the fan questions for Mr. King. So, the first question comes to you from Derek Gibbon, who wants to know, what are your dream matches? Literally, if you could take anybody from the British scene, past or present, Mr. King, who would you be facing? That is what Derek Gibbon wants to know. Yeah, it's a tough one. That is a tough one.
In your own time, Richard.
Okay, 3 answers, and we'll go reverse order from 3, 2, and 1. Number 3 would be Doug Williams. Doug Williams has been long-standingly considered the ambassador of British wrestling, and therefore, for me to cement my legacy, I would need to knock him off that perch. Doug would be at number 3. Number 2 would be Fit Finlay, because I am as confident as I am, but one time humble enough to admit that Jason King is a fan of Dave Finlay. There is the purest purest wrestler of all time. There is a man we would fight. When the fight was over, we would hug, we would drink, and then we would fight some more. Number one, if I could wrestle anybody above Doug Williams, above Dave Finlay, if I could wrestle anybody, I would clone myself and wrestle me, because the only person really good enough to be a training partner to get me to the pinnacle where I need to be is moi.
Okay, so your number one dream opponent is yourself.
Surprise, surprise.
I wrestle the mirror every morning when I ask myself, how are you blessed with that much beauty?
It beats him every morning as well.
Well, Mr. Derek, and that is your answer. Jason King's number one dream opponent is Jason King. Now, I hope you're satisfied with that answer. In fairness,
I don't care if he's satisfied.
Well, he better be. He better be, because he got his answer. So, the next question comes from Catherine Fitzpatrick, who asks, will you be wearing a shirt on tonight's show? I have a feeling this one's already been answered, but go ahead.
Bit of a silly question. This is Jason King, always topless.
Catherine, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles can see this. What do you think? My question, Catherine, is, are you wearing a shirt on tonight's show?
Well, yeah. Well, I have.
That one.
No, I don't really think I want to touch that one, in fairness. I'm just going to say, you know what, we're going to leave that one alone.
Uh-huh. Next.
But the answer is, no, you're not wearing a shirt. So, Mr. George Bennett, long-time fan of the show, and quite possibly the biggest fan of the show.
The biggest fan of Jason King, too.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I think Derek Gibbons getting George trumped on that a bit lately. Anyway, the question is, well, okay, he sent in quite a few questions because George does this. So, first question from George Bennett is, do you have a problem with authority given your attitude towards John Obrey and his 5-pointer?
I rank that up here as the dumbest question I ever been asked ever. Next.
Okay, fair play. Well, actually, now that I think about it, that's all of George's questions. I usually get more from him, but ladies and gentlemen, this question now comes from the LEP head trainer, Mr. Danny Walsh, the pretty boy, and he asks, oh no, sorry, that one's for John Obrey. That's bad. Well, why not? Hello.
Surprise, surprise, the journalist that messed up again.
Hey.
I think it must be something in your family genes, mustn't it? Your parents had you, they messed up. You come onto this show, you messed up.
Wait, I created this show and I messed up, right? Is that what you're about to say?
Uh-huh.
Never mind. Well, that is all the questions from
You
Jason
keep
King.
drinking your bottle.
I'll smash his bottle over your head in a minute. Now, yeah, you know what? I train at LEP every Tuesday. I'll come over there, smash a bottle over your head. Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the questions for Mr. Jason King, because we now move on to the questions for the referee, John O'Brizzle. John Obrey, are you ready for your questions, sir?
I'm ready. I'm born ready.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here we go. So, from LEP head trainer Danny Walsh, sort of gave a spoiler away at the end for this one. Anyway, it's a spoiler. That's what it was. It's just a spoiler. Do not worry about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Live TV.
Absolutely, you gotta love it. If it's on live TV, it never goes wrong. So, from Danny Walsh to Mr. Obrey, do you feel the rope break rule is well explained enough for the fans to understand it?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. It's not just the fans that don't seem to understand this flipping. It's mainly the wrestlers that don't understand the rope break. Every time a rope break happens, they have to argue with me. Why are you breaking the count? Why are you breaking? Well, because they've got the ropes. It states in the rules. The ropes break the hold. Ropes break the pin. Simple as that. That's what the rope's there for.
Well, that's why it's called a rope break, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, not a lot of people understand, but there you go. Like I said, not even some of the wrestlers understand what a rope break is. They, you know, the minute someone hits that rope, that's it. Arguments.
Isn't it your job? Isn't it your job to make that clear?
I try my best, Mr. King. The minute a foot goes on that ropes, you know instantly. I break that hold. You more than anyone know instantly. I will tell you to break. Not a lot of them will break the hold, but states in the rules you've got until the count of 5 if you've got a submission on. The foot's on the rope. If they grabbing the ropes with their hands, that's it. It's been classed as a rope break.
Duchess of Queensbury rules.
Sorry, Jason Queen's 3 rules. Okay, I'm intrigued. What are these 3 rules, Mr. Jason Queen?
Go back to drinking your bottle.
Agreed.
Why not? I tell you what, this is.
You can't hold kayfabe for too long, can you? Fuck.
No.
No. This is kind of
Not when the presenter. Not when the presenter.
I literally thought you said Jason Queen's 3 rules. I was like, what? What are you on about?
I told you we should have had the cameras off.
Anyway. Drunken Wrestlecast, this is what happens. So, the next question comes in from George Bennett, and this is the series of questions where there are more than one. So, for a bit of an abstract question, the question... Jason King, stop laughing, sir. It's not funny. The question
the worst podcast of all time.
Or alternatively, depending on your point of view, the best podcast of all time. Am I not wrong? Yes. So this question comes in from George Bennett, and it is a bit left field. Let's call it left field. What with the black and white stripes? How about we add a little bit of colour, possibly primrose and lilac? That question comes from George Bennett.
No, I think it's. To be honest with you, I tried. I wouldn't say I tried more colourful clothing when it came to my refereeing attire. I tried white shirt, didn't really work. Tried black shirt, no one was happy with that. Well, back to black and white it is then. I did try. I wouldn't say go more colourful though. Don't want to stand out, to be honest with you. But no, keep to the traditional black and white stripes. Everyone knows who you are with the black and white stripes. Instantly, you're the referee.
Well, that makes sense. I must admit, many people will think, based on the number of slight errors in presenting, there have been a few tonight, that question might have come from me, but it didn't. That came from George Bennett. Meanwhile, this one's, I think, even better. Should refs' shirts carry sponsors? For example, count to 3 with Free Mobile, or sponsored by Durex, we all make mistakes. Which, considering this podcast tonight, is an advert for making mistakes.
Oh dear. Well, I've got to admit, I like the whole sponsorship idea. I don't know how good it would look on a referee shirt. It needs to be somewhat professional. It's a good idea though. Might be worth thinking about.
Who in their right mind that was successful enough to run a successful brand and business would put their brand on a referee's t-shirt?
Just remember, one of the hottest referees in the Southwest at the moment. Just remember that. That's why they'd want to.
And a referee who's out there the entire show.
The most corrupt referee in the Southwest.
No, here we go.
I'm saying, speaking from experience.
Hang on, sorry. Fight.
Was that the bottle of liquor that you've been drinking the entire time you've been presenting this show?
I think you have problems, Glen.
I've got nothing else to ring, so ding, 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 have a go. Did I just stop you two from fighting? Hey, I should do this more often. Anyway, the next question comes from Mr. George
Where
Bennett.
did you get your journalism degree?
I didn't get my journalism degree.
You didn't get...
No.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Oh well, that's just insulting, isn't it?
Yes.
Quite frankly, who needs a journalism degree? I am an advert for what a journalist can be without a degree. I am aspirational. Don't you forget it. Now, the next question comes from...
One-dimensional.
Hey, shut up. I'm not just one-dimensional. I'm two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional. I hit so many dimensions, you might even call me multi-dimensional, as in multi-million dimensional. That's what I am. Now, the next question is from George Bennett, and this is his second to last question. There's another one after this. Like I say, George likes to ask questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions now, George.
Absolutely. Who is the best ref? That's it. Who is the best ref, let's say, of all time?
Oh, bloody hell. Wow. Okay. A lot to choose from, to be honest with you. But
Johnny Allen and Red Dyer.
yeah, we'll move on from that. Well, a lot of people would state that Earl Hebner would have to be the best. But I tend to disagree with that. He's obviously top referee. He's been around for many decades, but for me, it's close. It's between WWE referee Mike Chioda and also WWE referee my personal favourite, Charles Robinson. He's up there. Charles Robinson for me. Little Nate has to be the best referee out there in my mind.
So this is the thing, right? When I went to the O2 Arena, Charles Robinson came out, and that's the first time. Well, it wasn't the last time, but that was the first time I ever heard a referee got chanted at a WWE event.
Charles, he's phenomenal. Deserves everything. You know, his work is amazing. One guy, he is the guy I try to look at and try and learn from is Charles Robinson. Yeah, just phenomenal referee. Definitely, in my mind, one of the best.
Oh, that's cool. So, the last question for George Bennett is this. Is there a guidebook for refs, you know, a rule book for refs, or do the referees just make it up as they go along?
No, we don't make it up as we go along. Yeah, Jason will have something to say about this, no doubt.
When I was reading it, I was expecting that.
You already know the answer to that.
Here we go. See, no, we do. There is a rule book. There are many rules to wrestling, to becoming a referee. We don't make it up as we go along. If we have to think on the spot, we have to refer to what we remember from the rule book, remember the rules. But no, it's not off the cuff. There is guides. There is a rule book. There is definitely a rule book to refereeing.
I got a question about this rule book. What does the rule book say about putting your hands on Jason King?
Well, actually, hold that thought.
Is this on any wrestler or is it on Jason King? Because
I don't care about the other wrestlers. I care about me.
Jason King, I am sure it would be well within the rules. Well within the rules to put their hands on Jason King. But, no, unless provoked, in my mind, which... Just remember, that is what you did at CPW. You physically provoked me. Not once, but twice. I warned you the first time. Second time round, I had enough.
I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. Selective memory again, isn't it?
If I recall, in fact, I was just planting daisies. Along you came. Threw me into Big Daddy Bainsley.
So
that's how I remember it.
This is what I love about you, Mr. King. You tend to contradict yourself, because I could have sworn if anyone wants to prove me wrong, feel free, but earlier on in the podcast, you stated you pushed me not once, but twice. That came from your mouth, and now you're saying you were picking up daisies, and I just threw you into
Yes, but I fell over, didn't I? I stumbled. I grabbed you to help me up.
Selective memory again. See, this is a classic Jason King.
I'll ask Jason King a quick question. Jason King, do you think it is a good strategy in the middle of a wrestling match to be picking up daisies?
Good question.
Have you ever heard the saying, those that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones?
Yes.
Do you think that it is a good rhetorical question, you idiot? Do you think that it is a good strategy to start a podcast as a journalist without a journalism degree, B, without looking up John Obrey and Jason King's history because they hate each other, and C, most important, more important than anything, to get drunk, to drink a bottle of liquor whilst doing the podcast with two guys that hate each other? The podcast without your journalism degree.
I think it's an excellent strategy, actually, because this podcast has been excellent. Because I knew you two hated each other, and I knew it'd be excellent watching you fight. And I knew people would find it funny when mistakes happen. People like mistakes. Hey, we're trying to get a botchamania here. Extra advertising. Why not? There you go. So, well, I mean, it's very interesting that Mr. King asked that question of you, John, just a few moments ago, because Danny Walsh came back with another question.
Okay.
He did. And he asks, what is your view on wrestlers placing their hands on the official?
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It should not be allowed whatsoever. The amount of times that wrestlers, especially Jason King, has put their hands on me, has physically provoked me. I agree. I snapped once. Once I snapped.
One time too many.
I take you back to LEP in the triple threat match at St Anne's Hall a few months back. I remember Maximo pinning Adam Flint. I remember making that 1, 2, and then all of a sudden I got booted right in the side of the head by one Jason King. I really don't think it should be allowed. It should be grounds, a fine, a suspension, anything for putting their hands on the referee. There should be consequences in my mind.
Well, that's an interesting point of view, because Ring of Honor certainly share that opinion, and they do actually find wrestlers who put their hands on referees.
It should be brought over here. It really should.
Okay, that's an interesting response. And we've got 2 more questions for you, Mr. John. This one comes from Daniel Gosling, and Dan asks.
Wait. From who?
Daniel Gosling.
Never heard of him.
I'm not surprised. Most people refer to him as Goz.
Never heard of him.
So, the question is, if you ever retired from refereeing and went into management, for example, who from LEP would you want to manage?
Oh, wow. Okay. Bloody good question, that is. I like that. Obviously, down LEP, a lot of talent, a lot of potential. There's a couple I think I'd love to manage. If he ever broke away from the firm, it would have to be Mr. Jago. He is a force to be reckoned with. I'd love to manage. I'd love to manage Jago. Another one I think would be a top one for me would be Maximo. You know, he's got all the potential, all the talent in the world to go far, and I'd love to be there and help that. You know, be there for when that happens, when he becomes the star that he already is becoming. You know, but yeah, I think for me those are the main 2. Like I said, a hell of a lot of talent down there, and I couldn't really. Yeah, I couldn't pick one, but yeah, I think the 2 for me, yeah, Jago and Maximo by far.
Maybe you could manage Glen Chun, manage him through his course to get his journalism degree.
That might actually be a good idea, Mr. King. And again, I'm going to agree with you for the 3rd time. Yeah.
I personally don't think I need a journalism degree. Went to
Oh,
university
you
on
did?
Hey, I went to a university on journalism
Yeah,
course.
you,
They didn't teach me anything I didn't already know. So
wait until you watch this podcast back, Glen, and you might end up agreeing with us.
Probably not. I tend to only agree with me. So, what? Okay, the serious thing is, I went to university, right?
Whoa, shut up. No one wants your life story. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It just wasn't worth it.
Oh, God, it's not worth it when you speak.
That's simple.
He's
Anyway,
still
the next
talking.
question. Hey, shut up. Next question comes from Grayson Reeves.
Who?
Grayson Reeves.
That son of a bitch.
Phenomenal.
That son of a bitch, yeah.
He's still around, is he?
He is, actually. So, the serious question. Why did you want to become a referee, and do you have any aspirations to reach a higher level?
Cheeky.
Well, yeah, everyone has aspirations to go further. I'd love to take. Honestly, I'd love to take my refereeing further, maybe further up the country. We'll start working with a lot of more of the top pros that I've been watching for years and years. But I think the reason I wanted to get into refereeing was what I love about refereeing is, you know, you wrestlers, you come out, you wrestle one match, you're out there 15, 20 minutes, fantastic, you've got one opponent. Referees, we're out there for the entire night. We get to work with every single wrestler on that card that night. We get to work with every single one. I've worked with some top. I've only been doing this since August, September, and already I've worked with the likes of Marty Scurrell, the Magnums. You know, we had El Ligero at CPW. It's just been phenomenal. And yeah, to be honest with you, yeah, that's the main reason. It was. I just love the whole. Yeah, I love the business side of wrestling. Yeah, you can point all you like, Mr. King. I wasn't going to include you in that, but yeah, absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. I love refereeing. I've always enjoyed refereeing. I watch referees on telly more than I watch the wrestlers.
Ah, well, there you go.
See you there, Mr. Yeah, you bastard.
Yeah, he's pointing at himself. I think he considers it the biggest honour in the world for you to referee his matches. Now, that is all the questions for Mr. Jason King and Mr. John Obrey. There is, however, one more question that was submitted for the show. And it is for me.
Oh.
Yes, it is. It comes from Mr. Grayson Reeves, who asks...
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse. A question from Grayson Reeves to Glen Chun. You may as well an outbreak of plague or SARS or foot and mouth again than a question from Reeves to Chun. I honestly, I could not. Polio outbreak, locusts everywhere. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Well, that's not really very nice. I was just going to say I couldn't think of anything nicer. Really? That's what I thought. I thought this was a really nice question, like a load of honey being dripped into some nice pot of cream mixed in some strawberries and some sugar. That's what I thought this question was. Anyway, the question reads, when will you have me back on? Book it now.
Well, that's a very good question.
That is an extremely good question because Mr. Grayson Reeves was the first ever guest on this show and still one of the higher rated episodes we've ever had here.
Yeah.
So...
Hey!
I'm answering a question for me.
How did he get on compared to the king?
Now, actually, that's a very good question. When was that? I can find out. I'm going to find out right now. How about we do that?
Yeah.
What I will say though, to answer the actual question, is this: very, very, very soon, potentially next week. How's that? Potentially next week. So, Mr. Grayson Reeves currently sits on 156 views. Mr. King, you're on 167. So you're 11 ahead.
You had to feed that ego, didn't you? Didn't you, Glenn? You had to feed his ego.
This is what we call quality journalism, ladies and gentlemen. This is presenting facts in a pure, unbiased manner. This is what I mean. I am a very good journalist. I don't need a journalism degree. I know how to present the facts in an unbiased manner. Jason King is 11 views ahead of Grayson Reeves.
Look, whether you're kissing my ass, surprise, surprise, or not.
I'm not kissing your ass. I'm saying I don't need a journalism degree. I'm kissing my ass.
This is the thing, okay? Whether you're kissing my ass or not, okay? I still disagree with you. You need that degree. In fact, not even the degree, just some training, like any training, would be good.
I think a lot of long-time fans of this show would disagree with you on that one.
Would you?
Yes, they would. I'm pretty sure they would. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been tonight's show. Been an absolute mixed
How much
bag.
alcohol have you drank today?
It's gone from about here. It's gone from about here, to the red line there. So, that has been today's show, and it has been a mixed bag. It's been absolute crazy. I've been drinking, obviously. That hasn't been covered at all. Would you please stop laughing, gentlemen? You set me off now. I was trying to keep it professional. Damn you!
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
Summer, it's summer. You're gonna be sweating. Anyway, that was tonight's show. It was a bit chaos. Like I said, I have been drinking. Obviously, that hasn't been covered once or twice.
Obviously.
Obviously not. We've also hyped LEP Plymouth. Like I said, the tickets are going quick. So if you want to get yourself to LEP Plymouth, you need to book your tickets now. There is a link in the description because this is now after the show's gone off the air. So there is a link in the description for you to watch, for you to click on. I would like you to click on it, not watch it. That would be terrible. Please click on it and actually order your tickets.
And the thing to add as well, in a moment of seriousness, is that a place where you can hang out with the wrestlers after the show. We do hang out at the Ice Bar in Torquay. That is the LEP bar. You'll see a lot of the wrestlers there after the shows. So if you ever want to get autographs or you want to hang out and see what the guys and girls are like that you perform with at the Ice Bar in Torquay, that's where we go.
Yeah, in all seriousness, you can really hang out in a pretty candid environment and just get to see the guys what they're just like in everyday life.
Glenn, I have to hire security every time that you come around because no one lets you in. So don't act like you're part of the crew.
Well,
it was an open invitation to kind of everybody, but kind of not you.
So basically, what's been happening is I've been showing up uninvited all this time. Okay, well at least I know the score now. But yeah, the Ice Bar is a very good place to go to meet all of the fans.
Glenn knows what it looks like from the outside.
And the really cool thing about the Ice Bar as well is they're starting to do like LEP themed shots. So that's quite cool.
Again, he heard this because he doesn't know.
Well, I have actually had the Maximo, so there you go.
You've had Maximo.
Do not twist my words. I've had the Maximo, the shot.
Bit awkward.
Well,
I'm glad you said that. I'm starting to get worried for a minute.
Well, I dare say it's a lot better tasting than the Jason King. So there you go. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, if you want to go to the official bar of LEP, the Ice Bar is where you want to head.
Will we be there Sunday after the show? Is that somewhere where the wrestlers can come and hang out with us? Yes or no?
Yes, it is. We are going to be there.
Oh, yes.
Well, you two are. Apparently, I'm not anymore.
I've got security to make sure that you don't get in, Glenn.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a good idea. How about all of the fans watching this go to the Ice Bar on Sunday night after the show and see if I'm there or not?
You won't be.
No, they won't be. I won't be either.
What you'll do is you'll go, my God, there's a homeless guy outside the bar, and I'll say, that's Glen Chun.
Well, there you go. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, like I say, we've had a crazy show. We've also talked about LEP Topsham, talked to you about the action that happened there. If we can get the wheels back in motion on this whole thing. Yes, and we've had fan questions for Jason and John, and they have been phenomenal and properly good fun again, as always. Which now leads me to do the final plugs, which is where you can find us all on social media. So I'm available on Twitter, as always, Glen_Chun. Also on Facebook at Glen
Hey,
Chun.
Glenn, you got any followers?
Yes,
One?
more than one,
Two then?
more than two.
You haven't got more than two.
I have.
There's no way you got more than two.
And that's where you can find out all about Wrestlecast. And you'll also get it'll automatically, if you're on Twitter, it'll automatically update Twitter every time I do a video.
Oh.
So there you go. That's where you can find me on the internet. Now, Jason, where can they find you?
So I've got my extremely popular, I'm very, very sociable on Facebook with my fans. I sell a lot of merchandise online, pictures you can get of me. I've got a specific page. It's a Jason King page. You've got to search for it. It comes up. It's the first thing when you type in Jason King. If you just like the page, you'll get all my wrestling-related updates. I promise you that I will never mention Glen Chun in my posts either. So don't worry. No Glen Chun on my Facebook. There's a few about John Obrey. He pops up now and then.
And finally yourself, Mr. John, where can they find you on the internet, sir?
Yeah, you can just get me on Facebook. Just literally send me a request, add me as a friend, and you'll get all the dates of where I'm going to be refereeing next, and everything to do with LEP as well will be on there. So yeah, just literally send me a friend request, Joe Obrey.
I can just see it now. What could be worse than following Glen Chun on Twitter? The only thing worse than that would be to try and add John Obrey on Facebook. My good God, I could not think of anything worse than those two things.
Damn, I could go one more worse than that, and that would be following Jason King.
I thought you were going to say hanging out with Grayson Reeves.
No, definitely.
How dare you, sir? I'm just glad that the majority of the British public is not like Jason King. I think we can all be thankful for that. Which leads me to say,
Grace and Grace. What?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you spent most of this podcast insulting me. Well, you can take some back. So, I'd like to say for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you next week on the show. Yes, they are. I can't believe you sometimes, Mr. Jason King. I really cannot.
Can you not?
You need to get your ego in check, sir. And by the way, thank you for admitting that nobody's watching a podcast with Jason King on it. So I now know never book Jason King again if I want some actual viewers. So for everybody who is actually watching, thank you very much for watching tonight. I'm glad you stuck with us for this whole show. It's been great fun. Keep calm, keep safe. Hey, keep watching.